What's up, guys? It's Scar here from theScore Esports here with Santorin after I want to say close to 0, but I feel like you guys had it fairly in the bag the entire time. I want to ask, how was the prep against Echo Fox this week?
So basically, we feel like Frogging is the strongest player for the team. So we just went in with the mentality ban a lot of mid laners, so we can have a favorable mid lane matchup. And besides that, we kind of felt like taking away Rek'Sai from Hard would be a good choice because we felt like Hard was not playing Gragas as well as he was playing Rek'Sai. And I personally feel like Rek'Sai is also the stronger pick. So we just kind of like focused on mid and jungle and just play through there.
On the first game, TF or whatchamacallit, Frog actually brought out a TF pick, which is counter to his usual style of play because he can actually influence the side lanes a lot with that pick. Were you guys surprised by it when you saw it?
I kind of feel like they could bring out Twist of Fate. I knew Froggen played it. I honestly didn't think they would bring it out though because they still hadn't seen our top laner, so we just picked Maokai and TF is not as like useful. But besides that, like I still think Froggen played really well, and I think they could have won that game because we had slobby mistakes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the game. You had 100% kill participation throughout the game. I thought you did super well in the early game. The 1v2 you guys came out ahead. Quas was up almost 30 CS against Rise, and you ended up ganking them and killing them. What made it so the game was hard to close out?
So basically, we the way we baited Baron was just wrong. First of all, like we went to do Baron instead of like fighting Fire Dragon, which is like the first mistake. After that, we didn't push out the waves and get vision control. We just like started Baron. So they had an easy way of just like getting out all the time, and that's like the main reason why it like took so long. Because if we were so far ahead that if we just played it probably we'd just win in like 5 minutes.
Uh, I noticed, and I kind of agree with your analysis on this, but going into the second game, you guys had like a drastically different comp. You guys ended up getting the Jackson. Jax was, I think, 5-1 at some point. What made the second game difficult to close out then? Because I feel like you had very similar problems in both games.
Yeah, so I mean, it all goes down to like communication. We still have huge communication issues, but besides that, it's just like how we play the composition. Because like normally you see Jax, okay, just split push, but like now we have to like think, okay, when Swain shows up, we should like flank them because like the only way we win against like a Pokemon is flanking. So we had really hard time flanking them in the beginning. We didn't really know how to play our composition properly, even though like in scrims we played it probably. So I think it's just like people we need to like communicate more efficiently so everyone knows on the same page.
How is the shot calling done in the game right now? Is it just you and Kiwi Kid most of the time?
It's mainly me and Kivikit, yeah, and then sometimes GBM will say something too. Quas mainly communicates about like his laning phase and like what he can do in the team fights. But yeah, it's mainly me and Ellen.
Uh, so I interviewed you about 3 weeks ago, and at that time I thought NRG was doing super well. Your first week was pretty bad, and your second week, you guys, especially you, ended up playing very well. And I asked you, I was like, what made you look a lot better? And you told me it's because in scrims, your team is now allowing you to do riskier plays, and you're able to learn from them a lot easier. Right now, I would say. Although you guys are a bottom tier team, you are possibly in contention for top 6 in your position, top 5 in your position. How has the improvement been since we last talked?
Like personally for me, I feel like I'm only getting better right now. I don't see any jungler as someone like that's a huge threat for me. I feel like we're even if I'm not better. That's how I personally feel about like matchups. I don't care like what matchup I'm playing against the other jungler. But like as a team, my main issue when we're going against people like TSM is that they are way better at macro playing. They're way better communication. So even if we get out early game with a lead, it's really hard for us to close out the game. That's why like communication has been kind of like since we talked last time is still like our big issue.
And how exactly you guys tried to fix those communication problems?
So we try to do language in another way where it's like, okay, go top, go mid, go bottom, instead of being like, okay, I'll rotate top and do random stuff, right? So like instead of like saying a long sentence that I used to do, then we're just like trying to make it more efficient so everyone understands. Besides that, we still have communication issues in terms of, like people knowing what to do because like it's kind of hard to communicate everything that every single player has to do where they still understand everything. So that's kind of where like we need to somehow figure out how to do that probably.
Uh, NRG is a really interesting team because I think their import Koreans are getting the most flack of all the players in the team. And to be quite fair, OQ as well as GBM are not playing too well at the moment. What's that causing you to think and the rest of your team to think while you guys are playing? Can you guys just ignore it very easily, or is it sometimes get to you?
To be honest, I don't ever see my like I don't I always trust my team. Like I don't see like, oh yeah, he's not playing that well. I still believe in him. Like I still think he can do it. Like I'll give them the same lead and I'll expect the same out of them every single game. I don't care if they play bad the other games because I know like at some point they'll step up and when they step up we're gonna win games.
How is it for you to keep such a strong mental state when you guys aren't very high up in the rankings right now?
I mean, to be honest, right now I'm focusing on getting like the team in a better state, but as long as I feel like I'm doing good myself, like I can keep like motivating myself to like keep improving, keep getting better, and still try to like make the team be playing better too. But honestly, I still think we can get top six, and I still think we can make playoffs, and that's kind of what's motivating me right now.
Would you say the environment you're practicing and you're working with is very, very good and conducive to that kind of attitude?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think everyone's really positive. I don't feel like anyone's like, "Oh man, we suck. Like we shouldn't even play. Like why are we even playing together?" Like I think everyone is really like everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to learn. Everyone is always like criticizing other people for their mistakes so they can improve. And I think like that working environment, like I'm just having a great time.
So you said you were going for that playoff spot. That means you're probably looking for a fifth or sixth place spot. Which of the mid tier teams are you looking to take that spot from? Who do you think is the weakest in the mid four teams?
So it's a bit hard for me to say right now, but I feel like Envy has been playing worse and worse. I could see them dropping a lot of games in the future games, so I think it might be them we're gonna play against. But I could also see teams like Apex. I think Team Lego has just been performing really, really great the last few weeks, so I don't really consider them being one of those teams that we'll be playing against.
All right, great. Well, I mean, thank you for your time. Do you have any last statements? Any shout out to your fans? Anything you want to say?
I mean, I get again like fans like sorry that we're still not performing as well as I want us to perform. But like I personally still believe in us. I still think we'd make it top six and play in playoffs and hopefully do great. Besides that, I mean, thanks to all my sponsors and fans for continuing to support me, and hopefully we see you in playoffs.
All right, from a future playoff candidate, Santorin, they did 2-0 today. Scar from theScore Esports. You can find more content online or on our mobile app. Thank you guys. Hope you guys have a nice day.